Aloha. I want to do a video in response to the events that happened over this weekend in Los Angeles. The storyline going around, like this video is called A Massive Blue UFO over Los Angeles on November 7th, 2015. And my main focus is to expand it and see the various streams of thought that are out there, and how the manipulation of these storylines is really the focus, the main thing that goes on when these kind of events happen like this. So immediately when I saw this video, I jumped back to 2010 when they had in China there was back then they were calling it a wormhole that opened up over China's airport, and looked just like this video, looked just like what was going on here. And it was a big deal back then, and people were talking about that. And then recently there was also a hologram city, or a city. I can't even say hologram city because it was just, there's still people like talking about it, but that was one of the main theories, is that it was a hologram city. But there is a city that was seen over China, and that same or similar city was seen in LA or Southern California. I think it was like Orange or something, somewhere in Southern California. So these two very similar events happen, and my main focus is to get out there, is to see the various layers and timings of information that gets out there, and how you have to, because the social media scene, the viral scene, the bloggers scene, these are levels of thought that are as powerful, if not more powerful now, than the news circuits, the local news circuits that are out there. And really, it's creating people's reality, it's creating people's truth, it's creating people's universe, and how they observe, like, who they are in the universe. So it's another layer of disclosure that is being manipulated to feel a certain way, taste a certain way. And however the people respond during these events is kind of setting, it's like a litmus test for what the next step will be, or the next 10 steps will be on a bigger scale for the puppeteers playing these playing behind the scenes. So really, you think you're recording a video and you think you're recording something, but you're actually part of the movie, and being seen for not necessarily what the event is, but how the event is. So everything is really about energy and how it's being manipulated and harvested, because you have your moments, you have your space, and you have your time. And your moments are how you personally observe and experience your reality. You have the space that is surrounding you, that other people can perceive the reality as, and how that interacts, how you all perceive your moments based upon your space around you. And you have your time, is how that space and how those moments are observed in like a movie format over time, how the movie gets portrayed in your experience, and how you can share that with your friends within like the space of time. So these moments are being usurped by social media, by the news, by politicians, and everything. People are telling you, and intelligences are telling you how to see, how to perceive your reality, how to experience your reality, and how to think and basically just see things. So when people see this, they go straight online and like, oh, what was that? And then somebody online that they trust, that has been building up their I don't know, they're however they interact with you. So if you have somebody you watch online all the time, you trust them, and then they have people that you don't trust, and then you fit somewhere in between there as far as how you think. So you have a lot of the people who are understanding that the news is very not believable in a sense, and you have a lot of people. What was it? Russell Brand came out with the truths, and so he's part of creating the observing the realities that are put out there, and how they're programmed to make people feel and think a certain way, and it adjusts over time. So creating instability in the news outlets, because it was founded in instability, because it's made to make instability in your own mind, in your own moments, in your own space, in your own time. So just like jobs, works are made to harvest your time and harvest your energy, your space is being manipulated to be shrunk down into like a little box perspective, like your little apartment, your little condo, your little world, your little universe. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller once the information that gets streamed through your box gets all the way into your moments, to where your moments are your emotions, how you feel about things, how you experience, how you share things with. You share a moment with somebody else, and you share that information. You're sharing that energy and how you perceive things. And you have bloggers and social media sensations and YouTube, all these other people out here. That's the main thing, is that the people are the movie. It's not so much the event that's happening, because there's so many different versions of reality going on, and the regular news is talking about, oh yeah, this was a missile test and all that. Well, that already people don't believe that shit, so they're creating that government instability even further. Like the news is imploding itself. Like it's good that it's for them that they want that, because they want to bring that war closer into the mind, into the space that is closer, so they can make it more real for you to make a decision on movement. So you have like people in the main thing that gets put out there is the fear. So the fear in the news. So when people say, oh yeah, this was a rocket launch on the news, there's still like, say like for example, like however many 10 million people still watch the news and really truly believe the news and local news and all this stuff. So they believe that it was a missile launch and whatever like that. And the main thing that happens there, if you believe this was a missile launch, then you have to believe that there's a reason why, and the timing of these missile launches and what's going on, and what all this stuff is. So it triggers you to react a certain way. Then you have other people saying it's a UFO, and a lot of people already believe in UFOs and all this other stuff, but not truly believing it, because they don't completely understand it, and some of their friends don't completely believe it yet or talk about it, and their social media followers don't understand it, or don't know where to put this. Really just not knowing where to put this information, because you don't have anything on the mainstream that's tangible, and our whole perceived reality is based on the tangible, based upon like how we eat, drink, live, and communicate with other people. So if you go to work every day, you make money, you live in your little apartment or whatever, you eat food and all this other stuff, and you go to work and you're surrounded by people that think a certain way, then that is helping you create your reality. Then you got people in alternative news sites who are understanding of the holographic realities, and the chemtrails, and they're connecting dots on a further scene about what this stuff possibly could be. and how these are all connected, and what it all means on a global scale, as opposed to just like a personal observation. But I like to expand things so we can see like the emotions that what happens when this stuff gets out there. So as soon as I saw, I was like, oh, and then they were talking about missile launches, and then even people in my own family were talking, oh yeah, it's just a missile launch, and everything you are thinking is just different. That's the main thing. It's like once the news says something and creates your reality, and then for people, say like a 80-year-old man who's been watching the news for 60 years and that's his truth, he's gonna be like, oh yeah, it was just a missile launch, and I'm not listening to all that other hocus pocus UFO hologram stuff. Yeah, that's possible and all this with this new technology and all that, but really I'm really just on the scene of believing that it's just a missile test and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, the subconscious is downloading that fear and all that bullshit that gets pumped out on those scenes, and we carry it around thinking that we're all big and bad and in the know of all this shit, but really it's just it's a program to set you up for how to think on the later events that come up, because this is a big deal. This happened in Los Angeles. A lot of the social media people got in on it and went viral and all that stuff, and deals directly with UFOs. So it's basically like a UFO disclosure in a sense, if it's for UFOs. If like Obama or whoever comes out and talks about like this event, and then as from the perspective of a UFO, and then you have basically, you set your scene up. That's your scene for whatever storyline gets pumped out there. Meanwhile, the other storylines that are going about the holograms and all this stuff is existing, and nobody really wants to talk about that, because that's another layer of that's not really anchored in anything tangible like the news and all that stuff. It's something you kind of gotta feel, and if you connect the dots to like chemtrails and everything, those are tangible. You can look up in the sky and see that shit coming right out of the planes, and do some research on what's going on with all that stuff, and see that these things are definitely existing in a way, and it's really about the energy of the storylines that get pumped out there. Because once your moments get stolen, then people can, or intelligences can start to adjust the space of your reality, groups of people's reality. And then once the space and the moments are manipulated to look and taste and feel a certain way, then you can start playing with the time and slowing down time to make people think a certain way. Because once you put out a storyline that that is really believable in people's moments, and then they start to share it, and like in this video, this guy was talking about, oh yeah, this was I don't know, I thought it was a crop duster, and then somebody in the background was like, oh, it's a UFO, and then it was just like telling you how to think, and this is like a big deal for a lot of people, because most people don't even can't even look at UFOs and all this other stuff, because they'll be seen as cuckoo or something like that. Anyway, and then if you start talking about holograms, and then that's just a double layer of what the fuckville, and then they're just like, I can't deal with this right now, and so it's creating separation in the mindsets and the people. So you got the old school generation like, oh yeah, this is this, and then you got the the millennial generation is like, what the fuck, this is this, and then, well, I don't know nothing. And then you got the alternative, the new adults who are like looking at all the information all at once and seeing everything for how it exists as one storyline, and connecting all the dots, being like, oh man, so people are saying this, and this, and also the fact of holograms exist. So and the holographic reality and holographic storylines and connecting it to China and the floating cities and all that stuff. And basically, I just wanted to put out there that the information, not necessarily, don't get so caught up in the actual stuff that exists in the moments of these viral events, but expand it to how what's definitely happening. There's fear that is definitely being projected out there. There are storylines that are definitely being projected onto merging these scenes, like the news outlets and all this other stuff. And there's instability that's definitely happening in understanding our reality and how we perceive it. And our moments are being manipulated to feel a certain way, to adjust our space, and to manipulate the time that we experience these moments in our space. I'll leave it there, because this is how I perceive this event that's going on. I can't say that I'm not really, I guess I'm indifferent to this event happening. I'm not really happy in a sense. I want to be happy that people are talking about UFOs and all this other stuff, but I also understand how storylines get pumped out there and what this information gets done. So I would just say, go into researching and feeling for yourself, and don't fall for any kind of stories that just because somebody has like a suit or some kind of rank or something tells you what it is, then don't just fall for that, because it might be like a chapter 1 to a book that's not in everybody's benefit. If we fall into like letting other people create our reality, basically. So I'll leave it there. So until next time, peace, love, and harmony. Let's see what they say on the way out until the video will run out on its own.